Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Here I am again. I have just finished my last exam for this semester, so I am fully committed to uploading amazing content. Anyway, so I received some new to my collection e.l.f. products this week. So we have, for example, the Camo CC Cream. We have one of their no budge shadow sticks. We have the Putty Blush, and this is a shade Turks and Caicos. Struggle. I also have like their liquid metallic eyeshadow, and then I have some like brushes from them as well. I'm quickly going to prep my skin with the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. Disclaimer, this is not cruelty free, but if you saw my last video, this is part of my project pen where I try to empty this and basically get rid of it. Also, super random, before my exam this morning, I trimmed my eyebrows, so they're a little bit shorter right now. I cut too much of this in the front, like I cut it too short, so I will have to regret that decision for the next couple of weeks. So now that the face is prepped and primed, I want to go in with the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. What is this? The e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. So let me get it out of the box. I have the shade Fair 120N, which is a neutral with beige undertones. Interesting. Then we have the actual product, so this is what it looks like. I already swatched this when I first received it, so I don't know if you can see, but this is one of the first things that I noticed with this product. So there's like this gap, and when you twist it, it looks like it has already been used like a ton, which is not the case. I have not used this. The only thing that I did was I started pumping on this, and nothing was coming out, and nothing was coming out, and nothing was coming out. So I was like... eventually some came out, and then I was left with this, where it basically is like air came out of the tube whilst I was pumping, and then this is what we have left. That looks like not a lot of product, I have to say. It's a very thick formula. The shade seems to be... I did swatch it, and this shade seemed to be all right for my complexion, so I was really happy about that. So I'm actually gonna apply some on my face. Taking the sponge first, and then I'm just gonna buff this out. It has some coverage to it. So that is the Camo CC Cream applied to one side of my face. Now I have to say that for a CC cream, I was expecting a lot less coverage. So the shade, even though I feel like it might be a little bit light, it seems to match my neck pretty nicely, but my face, as you can see, is a little bit, naturally is a little bit darker than my neck. In terms of finish though, it looks really, really nice. It's not emphasizing any dryness that I have. It's not clinging to dry patches. It's actually looking quite natural for being this full coverage. I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit. So I'm quickly going to do the other side of my face as well. I'm also going to use a sponge. A sponge is what I usually use. I don't like to use brushes for complexion. Damn, it's very full coverage though. I definitely have too much as well. Okay, so I completed my entire face. So my first impressions on the CC Cream, Camo CC Cream from e.l.f. are, first of all, very full coverage, obviously. I think my face is basically completely covered up. Any kind of redness that I had from being warm is gone. It does have a really nice glow to it, even though I wasn't really expecting that. I personally like something that is a little bit less full coverage, but I have to say that even though it is very full coverage, the finish that this has is very reminiscent of for example, my Fenty Easy Drop or Ease Drop skin tint, even though that one obviously has a lot less coverage. This one has a similar kind of natural finish, where it just lies really nicely on top of the skin, and it doesn't seem to emphasize any kind of texture or any kind of dryness, which is amazing. So I don't have an e.l.f. concealer anymore. I used to have the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, but that one is empty. So I'm just going to use one from my project pen. This is the Essence Camouflage Matte Concealer. And I'm gonna use one of the brushes that I bought during this haul. So I have the e.l.f. Buffing Foundation Brush. So another thing that I picked up during my e.l.f. kind of haul is the e.l.f. Putty Blush in, this is a putty blush, and I have the shade Turks and Caicos. I have no idea how I have to say like the second part of this name. I'm so sorry. I really have no idea. I'm gonna assume it's Quakos, but it's probably something else. Okay, I'm really sorry. So this is a pot. I love the fact that this is like a little pot. Before I apply this, I'm actually gonna use my Project Pan bronzer, which is the Nabla Skin Bronzing, and I have the shade Ombre. So that is the bronzer, and now I want to apply the Putty Blush. And for this blush, I also purchased the Putty Blush brush, which looks like this. It's basically like a duo fiber kind of brush. It's a duo fiber kind of brush with a lot of like bristles. I felt this on my face when I got them, and it felt really, really soft, so I'm interested to try these. So I'm gonna try this brush, and we'll see. It's not as pigmented as I expected, which is lovely. It's buildable. Very soft brush and very soft blush. As for the formula, it seems to be really, really like a soft matte kind of formula, like very subtle. Not too much glow, but it doesn't take away glow either, so that's really lovely. My camera stopped recording, so I don't know where I cut off, but this is the blush on my skin tone. It's very subtle, very natural, which is something that I really like. I think if you were to go in with your fingers, that it would obviously, yeah, be a lot more pigmented. But this brush applies it and blends it in such a beautiful and very easy way. Like, it applies the color softly, so you can build it up to the intensity that you want it to be. It's a beautiful color as well. I actually like it a lot more than I was expecting to, so that's a good thing. The possibility of me owning an actual highlighter from e.l.f. is very, very small, because I think I stopped buying highlighters because I can't do anything with them, especially powder highlighters, so I'm just gonna use my Project Pen. This is the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Freestyle Highlighter Duo, and I have, I'm gonna use the shade Lightning Dust, which is this one right here, and a little bit of Fire Crystal, which is the one next to it. I'm not gonna use too much because Fire Crystal is pretty intense. So that is the base completed. So I also bought two products for the eyes. So I have the e.l.f. No Budge Shadow Stick Magnetic Pull, and this is the shade, I think it's the shade Magnetic Pull. Yeah, it's the shade Magnetic Pull. So this is what it looks like. I think it's really, really, it's a very neutral shade, but I wanted to try out these eyeshadow sticks because I'm looking for something that isn't eyeshadow, like in a powder form that I can use on my eyes on an everyday basis that's really easy to use. So I thought these would be a great start. And then I also have the e.l.f. Liquid Metallic Eyeshadow, and this is the shade Moon. I think this looks so pretty. Like, liquid eyeshadows are, especially like shimmery ones, are some of my favorites. I think it's so beautiful how they look on the eyes. So I'm quickly going to swatch those two products. Okay, so I swatched them. So this is Moon, and then this is Magnetic Pull. You can see that Magnetic Pull, which is like the eyeshadow stick, definitely has a little bit of luminosity to it as well, and then obviously Moon is more of a shimmer formula, so I'm really excited to try this. So we're gonna do a very, very simple look, to be honest. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use Magnetic Pull as a little bit of a transition color. So we're just gonna smear that like that, and then I'm gonna take a brush. This is a precision shader from Nobel Cosmetics, and I'm just gonna blend this out. And as we can see, it happens with ease. It's definitely more of like a cool tone color. It doesn't have a whole lot of warmth to it, but I don't actually mind that. Not the most pigmented formula, but that is what I was looking for, something kind of subtle. And okay, so once that is blended out, I'm gonna take Berry Bad and I'm gonna take the darkest shade in this palette. We're gonna do a very subtle halo eye, so I'm gonna apply that to the outer corner of my eye, first placing where I want that eyeshadow to be, and then we're gonna start subtly blending out the edges, but not yet this kind of part. And then I'm gonna take some more of that shade and I'm gonna put it on the inner part of my eye. This is gonna be definitely more of a cool tone smoky look. I'm filming this quite late in the afternoon, so my lighting isn't necessarily the best, so I apologize for that. Then I'm gonna take a blending brush and we're just gonna blend those colors together a little bit. I want it to be very subtle. I don't want it to be a very obvious halo eye. And then for the star of the show, I'm gonna take the E.l.f. I forgot what this is called. The liquid metallic eyeshadow, and this is the shade Moon. And I'm gonna place that in the center of the eye. And then I'm just taking my finger and very subtly blending that out towards the two outer corners, but never taking it all the way. There we go, and that is a very subtle look. I'm quickly going to do my brows and then we're gonna round up this face with the lips. Why do I look blown out? I have no idea, so I'm sorry. Now for the lips, I have this lovely little color from E.l.f. This is one of their sheer slick, yeah, it's the sheer slick lipstick. And this is the shade Orange Crush. I've used this a couple of times and it's a really beautiful color. A very emollient kind of formula. On its own, this color is not necessarily the best color for me. So I am going to pair it with a lip liner. This is the Catrice Long Lasting Lip Pencil in the shade Hey Macadamia Hey. It's basically like a brown and it's gonna make the red a little bit more wearable and more neutral colored. So that is the lip liner and then the sheer slick lipstick in Orange Crush. I like to apply this in the center of the lips, like that. Then I like to take my finger, swirl it around, very important, to kind of blend those two colors together. So that, guys, completes today's look. We're using some of my new E.l.f. purchases. So I really hope you like this kind of video where I use some new products in my collection and some old products in my collection, or my project pan basically. So I'm obviously a very big fan of the blush. I think it's really beautiful. It's a very subtle color and I don't know how well it will translate on camera because unfortunately cameras are really tricky in picking up very subtle colors. So yeah, it's a very subtle color on my skin, but I definitely see it in real life and I really like the way that it looks. For the E.l.f. Camo CC Cream, I think it is definitely very high coverage, and now that I have other colors on my skin like bronzer and blush, now that everything kind of came together, I do like it a lot more than I did. So I definitely like it a little bit more now. Again, I still am not sure about this whole thing. This is a lot of product that's not in the tube, so I don't know how I feel about that, but in terms of the color and the formula of the CC cream, I'm very impressed so far, and I will be glad to use it a little bit more and try it out a little bit more and then give you my full thoughts very soon. Like I said, the Putty Blush, beautiful soft matte formula. I think it's really beautiful. The shade Turks and Caicos is a very subtle shade on my complexion, but you can definitely build it up and I think it looks absolutely stunning. For the No Budge Shadow Stick, if it's no budge, I will have to test out. As for the no budge part of this eyeshadow stick, I'm not sure. I definitely like the shade because it's a little bit more on that cool tone side and more like an everyday color. I do like the look that I made today. It's definitely out of my comfort zone. It's very subtle and subdued and a little bit more or less on the colorful and warm tone side. Then the liquid metallic eyeshadow, this is the color Moon. I think it has the most beautiful, like very, very mature shimmeriness. What I mean by mature shimmeriness is that it doesn't emphasize any kind of like texture on the eyelid, which sometimes for people with mature skin can be a little bit tricky. I think it's a beautiful shade, but nonetheless I really like it, and I think this is also really, really nice if you're looking for something more of the everyday kind. I want to thank you so much for watching today's video. Please let me know what you want to see in the future. I'm really sorry about the lighting changing. It's something that I have to deal with considering that I film in natural daylight. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this look. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like or a comment down below, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!